yeah, it can be like really shocking. But to me, I was like, well, of course, because when you have so much money, money does buy power. You get to do whatever you want, and nobody holds you accountable. And I think that's what we're learning from all of this is like,
yes.
Unfortunately, yeah, there's a bunch of really
We have some comments.
crazy things happening.
You are in the right place. Thank you for coming. Sorry, the phone is just so far away. Hello, I searched near-death experiences and found you. Right or wrong place? Perfect place.
Perfect place.
Yeah.
Meant to be here.
Meant to be here.
Yes.
So glad that you're here. But yes, sorry to interrupt your thought process.
I will say a lot of it feels like there's like a slogan going around with it of like we should be more mad.
Yes.
And I want to caution that because mad is not the right emotion.
It's not.
Mad is erratic.
Yes.
Mad is not thought out. Mad is not strategic.
It's harvesting energy.
Yes.
It is harvesting energy.
Yes.
So that is a difficult topic to speak on because obviously, like, if this is new information for you, you're not going to understand what harvesting energy is. But it's literally how people can sit and debate on social media about stuff that is like really there's nothing to debate. You know, like how I brought up the kill switch on social media and how they're implementing that in new cars, right? And a lot of people will be like, oh, well, the Democrats would never do this or the Republicans would never do this. But realistically, it's like they actually both voted on it because the thing about it is politics are two edges of the same sword, right? Yeah. And so it's like there's actually no need to feel either way towards something. And I think that's the hardest concept that people aren't understanding yet is that you literally do not have to be worried about anything that they are talking about. But I do want you to understand that, yes, you are supported and like the feelings behind if you are reading those files, it's valid that you would feel that way because you haven't been exposed to things of that nature yet. But it is very much true. All the conspiracy theorists, you know, it's now coming full circle that, you know, maybe these people were not actually liars, you know, as it turns out. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it is a very good point of like whatever you're feeling about it is 100% valid. You need to sit with those feelings. You need to feel your feelings. Don't bottle them in. Let them out. Have the discussions in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Remember that somebody else's viewpoint is their opinion. Yes. An opinion can never be right or wrong. It is just your thoughts running through your head, through your filters, through your life. Everybody that you talk to is going to have probably a different view on it and see it differently. Just like we're talking about where it's like, you know, I say, you know, I don't want to be mad about it. I want to get uncomfortable with it. I want to look at it like, you know, if we need to burn it all down and start over,
then burn it down.
Right, burn it down. But it's going to be
back to
so
the basics.
Yes. And you think about, like, we all know how many people out there have been like, I'm going to start a compound, right? Yes. I'm going to have my land. I'm going to have my house. I'll have my family with
grow
their
my
house.
own food.
Right, grow my own food.
Barter system.
Yes, everybody wants it, but it's uncomfortable. And so people are like, well, you know, yeah, it sounds great. It's a theory, but we don't do it because you have to be uncomfortable. You're not going to have all the amenities that you have today, right? You're going to have to learn how to grow things. You're going to have to.
So if you want to break yourself out of the cycle, you have to know how to go back to the basics.
Yep.
So that's why it's extremely important. Like, you know, a lot of people will stress about money and like how they will survive outside of having a job, because a lot of people are getting laid off right now. And it's like, again, I sympathize with you as an unemployed bestie, but it's like also I have always been that type of person to make my own way. And so you do have to learn how to get back with your community and exchange things. Like, you have to know when you have been just in greed and just taking too much to where it's like now when you lose something, you're overwhelmed, right? But it's like, if we're taking just what we need, then we will be perfectly fine. And so as stuff is being released and all the chaos in the world is being projected in your face all the time, you just have to learn how to just turn it off and
know when to step away.
Yes,
right?
know when to step away
you're done.
and regulate your nervous system, because it's like, yes, stuff is happening in the world, but be present in your reality and what is going on right now, because you have the tools equipped that will help you when something actually arises that you can handle or that you need to get through. So,
yes. And reach out. I mean, both of us, I think, are more than happy to have that conversation.
I love having these conversations with people.
Let me hold your space. Let me, come on in. Let's talk about it. It's not something I don't think that we can go through alone, right? There's so many things that are impacted. Absolutely.
And that's such a big thing too, because a lot of people have been used to being in isolation as of late. Like, everybody spends all their time, they have all this social anxiety, right? And they've been in depression, things of that nature. They spend a lot of time at home, not going to gatherings. Like, I feel like this is really the year of community building. I see so many events and people just wanting to come outside now, because you need to be, like, your soul is actually asking you to get back out in your community, to remember how it feels, because in all actuality, everybody out there is not bad. Like, you just need to surround yourself with the right community, and they're out there. You have to find it. It's easy to find, especially if you're on Facebook, you can connect with people. But it's like, once you're in these spaces, then you can continue to build with them. Now maybe you guys are helping offer different things, because now you have a skill set. You're learning about yourself. Like, Jessica and I, we were literally strangers that met on Facebook. And we literally just share space with each other all the time. Like, we don't even know what we're doing, but we offer two different services, but we learn how to build off of one another and continue to share these spaces, because it's important to us and it feels good to us. So that's what we do. But I don't know, I feel like we can really get back into the near-death experience talk too, because I know on TikTok they were asking about it. And I was like, I didn't know how heavy we wanted to jump right into it, because I know a lot of people are like, whoa, what did I come on to, especially because it's my first time like promoting it on Facebook. But last live, we wanted to really touch on the concept of death.
Yeah, the two different types of death.
The two different kinds of death, okay? Hold on a second, okay? Hold on, because it's going to be deep, but at the same time, I want you to understand the concept of what we're sharing today, okay? Because the first concept that we were talking about was like physical, and then the other concept is like the spiritual concept, right? Is that what
I think so? I think it's a good way to put it. Or if you're not spiritual, then just think about like the end of something that's not really a
end
death.
Of a cycle,
end of a relationship, end of a job, end of something. Yeah, even end of like a what you thought your life was going to be about. Right. Shedding. I thought I was going to have that. Yeah. So the two different, the living death is what I was calling it.
The living death. That's what it was. The living death and like the physical death, right? Because we were just talking about how we have been. Okay, let me get my words together. I always say that I've lived 1,000 lives, because I have literally done so many different things within my lifetime, and I'm only 31 years old, but it's like I have done an array of things that to most people, they don't understand. Like, how are you not working a job, or how are you like doing what you're doing? But it's just simply because I have gone through a lot of death and rebirth, as far as shedding old versions of myself, constantly changing my environments, people that I'm around, things that I'm doing with myself, beliefs that I have. Like, I think I went through my first spiritual awakening in like 2022, in all honesty, because that's when I was working my corporate job. And all of a sudden, I'm just going through all these life changes of like something in me is telling me I need to quit. Like, I need to quit, even though I don't have a backup plan. But I'm like, I'm trying to quit and go to Arizona. And I don't know why this sounds right, but I think I'm going to do it. And like, I put in my 2 weeks and I literally just like left with no plan of what I was doing. But I'm like, oh, like, I feel on fire inside because I know that this is in alignment. But at the time, I'm not understanding this terminology and this way of thinking because my life has always been like structured. Like my household was very structured. It was always, you go to school, you get good grades, you get a good job, and that's what you stick to. So then when I'm all of a sudden this soul that has turned around and I'm going the other way, and everybody's like, is she okay? Like, I think she's going through a midlife crisis and she got all this stuff going on. She's depressed, like labeling me. But I'm like, I'm actually not depressed. I'm just confused, like, because I don't want to do this stuff anymore. Like, I'm literally just doing what feels good to me, but I'm not knowing that it feels good to me because I'm basing it off of everyone else's beliefs. And so it's like, it was such a hard time finding that crowd of people that really understood what I was going through. And I had one friend during that time that was always answering my phone calls and like helping me with somatic breathing. That was my first intro to somatic therapy. But I had to go through that a lot because I would always have these out of body experiences. Like I'm constantly just feeling like I'm not myself. And I just don't know how to like explain it, but it was like reality was just different, like everything just seemed so fake. And I'm like going outside like this is the Twilight Zone, like I don't know myself. I don't know what is going on. I was very confused, but the right person will always show up and help guide you on that experience. Because it's an everlasting experience, if I'm being honest. Even today, I still have those moments of shedding, but I'm like more hip to it now. Like, okay, we're shedding that friend, we're shedding that one business idea that I had, but I allow myself to experience it and then be like, okay, yeah, we're going to move on. Or like when it comes to relationships with people, like it doesn't have to be bad blood. It can just be like, yeah, we're not aligning right now. So I'll circle back later. But some people are again not hip to that yet. Yeah. So they're like, I don't know if I like you. Yeah. It's like, okay, well that's also okay. We just don't align and that's fine. But I mean that's really the aspect of when you're shedding in real life, right? It feels like a loss. And it can be very lonely, and it's mourning people that are still alive or mourning your old self. Even if you've had a baby,
Yeah, it's almost harder than an actual death is ended with some sort of ceremony, right? Yes. So you get a funeral, you get a celebration of life, you get something that says, okay, now we know they're past, right? They're no longer here. But when that other relationships, right? So when that other person that now you've ended a relationship with is no longer there, you don't have a funeral for them, right? They're still living, down the block or whatever it is. And you have to figure out how then to grieve that. And a lot of people don't understand that it truly is a grieving process.
It is.
When you change careers, when you change, we come in and out of seasons with people just like the weather. If that person is just there for a season to teach you a lesson, you have to be able to let him go versus the universe. If you hold on to somebody who's not meant to be in your life anymore, you are going to have problems.
Yes.
The universe will continuously
an everlasting cycle of problems. Yes.
Yeah. Until you finally are like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? Like that's what I need to move from. And that's what the universe is trying to get me to go to this other timing, right? You can't you can't open a door without closing one.
Yes.
I love that. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. And that grieving process is not linear. And I don't know that it would probably be the same, but like when you experience like actual death, I almost feel like they coincide, because since the grieving process is not linear, the thing about it is when you do have to let go of people that are still alive, you do have to understand, like, you may not circle back with this person again. And you will go through times of like, man, I really do miss these good times, but then you have to stand on boundaries. Like, you, especially if these people are not where they are supposed to be. I don't want to say supposed to be, because everybody is living life how they're supposed to.
Their timing is not matching
Their
yours.
timing is not matching yours. And you have to understand that sometimes it may never match you. And then so you have to be able to let that go. And so you truly will sit there and mourn just all the good times, and you'll question yourself to want to go back to being that person. But it's like, no, you have to allow yourself to keep moving forward, because that's when you reap the most benefit, is when you truly come and allow yourself to live out your soul experience, versus when you just do what's comfortable, you do what everybody else is doing, because there's truly no happiness in that. You know, like, everybody wants to stay in like a victim mentality, or, you know, stay in the spaces that keep them small and lower frequency energy, you know,
or in the place they feel they're supposed to be, you know, like you were talking about, where it's like you were told you're supposed to do certain things, and as you're out there experiencing it, it probably felt very conflicting, because you're like, no, I'm having like the time of my life.
Yes.
And everybody else is like, what's wrong with you? And you're like, nothing's wrong with me. What are you talking about? I'm having the time of my life. This is what I want. And then it's, you know, we battle the inside, those things, those voices, you know, our parents, I mean, I think they always want the best for us.
Yeah.
They want what they know, but that's how your generational like trauma happens too, is nobody stops and
you
goes,
gotta break the cycle.
Yeah, that's not, that doesn't serve me. It might have served you, but you know, or I don't know, I probably did the same things with my kids, right?
Yeah.
Of like, this is what I think is best and I'll teach you. But then allowing them to make their own choices when they get there. I've got a son that's kind of like you were, right? Like, he's just like, I don't know what I want to do. I want to go do everything. Go do everything.
Go do everything.
Do a little of everything.
See, I love that he has that support from you too. Because like me, and sorry, mom and dad, if you're listening, we are so cool. Okay, guys. So me and my parents are cool. But I have the experience of, I had to re-teach my parents, right? And we went through so many phases of, like, I would detach from them, and like, I just didn't know how to be with them, because I would look at them and I'm like, soulfully, I have outgrown you, but I don't understand how to interpret that, because you're my parent, right? And so like, that's when you go through that phase of like your spiritual family and your earth family. And I would just tell myself all the time, like, so this is like my karmic family. Like, they're not really my family, but like, they're here to teach me a lesson. And then I was like that rebel for a while that was like, I would talk to my parents crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. And I had to outgrow that, because I'm like, that was me still learning how to process, how to coexist with them, when it's like, I'm at a different level energetically than what they are. I'm not better than them. I had to learn that. I'm not better than them, but I was energetically mismatched. And we still are. We still are sometimes. But it's like, for the most part, though, they understand me and I understand them. Like, the conversations that I have with them, they understand me enough to where it's like, okay, you can be who you are, and you as well, like vice versa for both of them. Like, I allow them to live out their truth and be in a cycle or whatever the case may be, because I'm not here to tell them how to live their life. But as their child, I can see that they're not happy, but it is up to them to make those decisions. And honestly, even that can be hard. That's part of that mourning and grieving stage too, because as they age, and we worry about our parents, right? And they may get sick, stuff happens to them, and you can give them 1,001 different things to help heal them. Like maybe it's, you got to start putting yourself first, self-care. You go to the gym, change how you're eating. You got to take care of yourself. And you'll have a parent that is like, yeah, I hear you, they're not doing it though. They're not doing the thing, but then they always come to you with the negative, right? They always come to you with the next update of the doctor visit, and now it's this, now they got this. And like eventually you have to shut it off, right? It hurts, but you have to shut it off. Like you can just, they'll talk to you nonstop about all these problems, but it's like, I'm going to give that back to you. Here you go. Because unfortunately, this is your accountability, and you are choosing not to do what you need to do for yourself. And I don't want to weigh that. I don't want to stress myself out and be sad about something that someone is actively choosing to do on their own accord.
That's a really good point, because that is letting people hold their own energy. You can hold space for someone. You can invite them in. You can sit with them during their emotions. You can sit with them through their talks, right? And you can hold that space for them, but it doesn't mean you have to take their energy. It doesn't mean that you have to pull in from them and feel what they're feeling, right? And then it's important also that you're meeting them where they're at.
Yes.
You were likely given to them as their child to show them the spiritual side of things, to show them the way that you can live free, to show them that something can be different. So you, as children, you get to teach your parents also.
Yes, you do.
Parents, you teach your children. Children, you get to teach your parents. But it is very much about letting them be where they're at. And being the example maybe that you want them to see, right? Like that's just probably what you're doing for your son too. You're going to show him a mom who is like strong, who does it the way that she wants to do it. She's not going to social norms. You're going to teach him those things, and then when he grows up, he's going to have his own thoughts and he's going to be creative and
doing stuff.
So it's really,
because it's about being present, not perfect.
For sure.
Because my son could even grow up and look at me like, wow, you are weird. Like, what are you into, But then it's teaching him like, no, this is like, allow people to show up as they are, and don't take that on as your thing. Be yourself. You are here serving your own soul purpose and journey. And we kind of had that talk last time too about like how I'm his earth guide. As a parent, I'm not here to control my son. I'm just here to help guide him, but he is free to, like, as he gets older, make his own decisions and decide what is right and wrong for himself, opposed to me trying to force him to do what I feel is right. But
that's a hard one. I'm not gonna lie. My older four, so I have 5 kids. My older 4 kids did not get that mom. They got the mom that was like, oh my gosh, you have to do this, because I was terrified, right? Like something's gonna happen. My youngest one, she gets the more chilled out, relaxed.
I feel like that's usually how it is. The older kids always envy the younger ones, because they get the soft life, and the older ones had to go through the trenches with their parents, because we grew up together.
We literally grew up together. Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you think about, I'm gonna go weird just for a second, or not weird, maybe woo, whatever you want to call it.
Woo.
I'm gonna go woo. You think about before you even get to this earth. You've got your tribe on the other side that is there. Your counsel's helping you decide what's the right life for you, to learn the lessons you need to learn when you're here. You've got your people that are standing beside you going, I'll go with you, which is a lot of times where like our parents come from, our friends, the people that we meet out of Facebook, right? Like, we know we're going to have those people. And so we're sitting on the other side before we get here going, I can make this work because I know I have all these people out there.
Support system,
And then we get here and we forget everything, right? Because it wouldn't be fun if we were remembered, right? Like, if I know, I'm supposed to do this on Tuesday, right? You gotta rethink about it. But it's the importance behind like your meditation, getting back with yourself, following those things, that really, like you said, it was a feeling. You're gonna quit your job and go to Arizona. You followed your intuition. You followed that guide in your head that said, this is what you're supposed to be doing with your life. I heard somebody say one time, and it was like, if it's not a hell yeah, then it's an F no. And that was my favorite thing, because you feel it, right? If you've ever done anything that is like, wow, that was exactly what I was supposed to do. I know I'm supposed to go to this meeting. When you messaged me on Facebook, I was like, I have to talk to her. And it was weird because I'm normally a very introverted person. And so me even doing that, but it was one of those things where it's like, yes. And you just feel it, and you've got to start following those feelings of yes, because that's going to get you. It's basically your higher self telling you you're on the right path. Just like when we talked about, like, if a season is supposed to end with a friend, the universe will tell you that, and you'll have repeated patterns of not great things happening. Well, you'll have the opposite when you are on the right path. When you are following where you're supposed to go, where you are doing the things you're supposed to go do, see, feel, you get those energetic, like almost adrenalines in your body, and that's what you have to follow. That tells you you're on the right path.
And you are free to change your path at any point. Like, you're not a tree. I love saying that one though, because when I was younger and I used to read that, I'm like, this is the stupidest quote. Like, what does it mean you're not a tree? Obviously. Like obviously. But like, now that I'm older, I love to hit a little razzle dazzle with, you can change, you're not a tree.
Your free will comes into
your
play
free will,
at that point.
you know? But also, now it's time to get even weirder, because now we can touch on the near-death experiences that we talked about last time. Because I think I was talking about the YouTube videos that I watched. Did you watch them too?
It was weird that we both had seen, I think, different ones, but they were
the
similar.
Same. They were so similar. So you guys need to watch near-death experience videos, because they literally have the same like underlying experiences. And so the ones that I was watching, they talk about how, well, for one, they don't even know that they are dead, but it's like they go on this experience of like they're flying around, and it's like when they think of something like, oh, I want to be on the wall, like they're on the wall, like type thinking. And like one of them was talking about in particular, like how he doesn't know how to explain it, but it felt like a hug. Like his feeling of death was, well, sorry, I don't want to call it death. Where he was, he felt complete. Like there was nothing necessarily going on, but his feeling of where he was during his time of being dead was that he was loved and he felt whole, and he was just so happy because he was just flying around and like looking at stuff, and he was like, I just felt so powerful and so alive. And so I was just like, it's weird how, touching on that topic, like the concept of heaven and hell is what we were talking about. Because then I was telling her, as a kid, when I went to church a lot, I always would question the concept of heaven and hell, because I'm like, so it's 2012 and we're sitting here talking about Jesus' second coming. So you mean to tell me like all the people that died in 1840 are still just like marinating because they are waiting for this second coming? Like, what are they doing? Like I was really questioning like what is going on. So then I would be afraid of death, because I'm like, I don't want life to just go on after I pass away and I'm just sitting in a casket for years waiting for the second coming, but then I have an understanding of the consciousness part of it, the concept of heaven and hell being your conscious mind. Like you can reach hell state or heaven state right here, like while you're experiencing life. And so that was like, it's a crazy thing to think about, and a lot of people aren't really familiar with that yet. But what would you say about it?
So I'm a huge believer in God's source, whatever you want to call the creator, the owner of Earth. Okay, huge believer in that. I'm gonna call him God. So my God is not vengeful. Like all love, right? Unconditional love. And I equate those people that are like, oh, it felt like a hug, or it felt like, just belonging and you get all your answers. That's the unconditional love, because you're now in the presence of the fullness of the energy of God.
Mm-hmm.
So we all have a little bit of God inside of us, right?
Yes.
We are made up of the energy of God. And so therefore we all get that. And then when you pass, it's all encompassing. Mm-hmm. So that's your hug. That's your big unconditional love. Our hell is actually here on earth.
Yes.
Our hell is where we live on earth, and based off of, our free will, right? We just said you can change your contract, your path, your purpose. You can change it because you have free will.
Yes.
But if you change and you go with, you think about the bad things that you can do, because honestly, on this planet, you can do anything you want.
You have free will. You're not a tree.
If I want to harm somebody, I can.
Yes.
I'm not free of the consequences that come with that, which then could put me into my hell.
Yes.
And so really your hell is what you make of it on earth. So if you never want to see hell, do good on earth, right?
Do better.
Right.
Be better. No.
Love.
Yes.
Give. Serve. Like all those things. And watch yourself when it comes to any anxiety, fear.
Yes, those are low
jealousy.
Frequency feelings.
Those are the things that are really holding you down and keeping you away from what that God feeling would feel like.
Yes, exactly that. But we are human, living human experiences, and that is part of the life lesson, right? Mm-hmm. So we are programmed, pre-stored with these energies of feeling anxious or depressed or things of that nature. But you have to choose each day to overcome those things. Because they are low frequency feelings, and it will that energy will depict how you want to treat people that day or treat yourself, and you stay in that energy, right? So that's why people will walk around and be in this victim mentality. They don't want to change. They're in their hell state, and to reach your God consciousness, you have to allow yourself, you have to take control of the mind. You have to learn how to be an observer of thoughts and things that are going through your mind. But at the same time, if you get a feeling, if you get a feeling of jealousy, take a minute, pause, what is this feeling coming from? If it's you see someone on Facebook that has a nice car, and you're like, like you keep scrolling, like you feel some type of way, but like you keep scrolling, but it's like, why do you feel that way? Mm-hmm. Is it because something inside of you wants more for yourself? Okay, so let's circle back and talk about that. Why do I feel like I don't have more than enough for myself right now, that I'm bothered by what somebody else is doing? Mm-hmm. Okay, because you are not living out your full potential. And then that's where you have to take the accountability to remove yourself from that hell state. Mm-hmm. I want better for myself. So if I was my higher self, how would I be interacting today? How would I live my life today? And I literally had that mindset shift. It was introduced to me in a YouTube video where I was like, why did I not think of that? Like when they were like, you literally have to wake up and think from your higher self, instead of like I was writing every day as like I'm asking for help from my higher self. And I switched the mindset shit. Like I shift my mindset of I am my higher self. Mm-hmm. So now that I am my higher self, what am I doing today that is my bad, y'all. What am I doing today that is in alignment with my higher self to keep myself pushing forward? So instead of dreaming about having a family compound and, I'm going to grow my own food, I'm doing that right now. Like, even though it's hard for some people to grasp that concept, you just have to do it. You start so simple, it's not when you get your next house or whatever the case may be, you do it right now, because you have to it's a little bit of delusion, but it's mixed with the intention of how you want to live your life. You can't live your life every day waiting for something to come. You have to be intentional and you do it, because every day is judgment day. Yeah. So it's like everybody is waiting for this second coming and things are going to get better. No, it's today. So if you're focused on, okay, if today was my last day, am I happy with how things went? If it's a hell yes, great. I'm happy for you. If it's a fuck no, then get your ass up and do what you need to do today to make it a hell yes, because that's what needs to happen, for yourself, and to take accountability and surround yourself with people that make you feel alive, that are also pushing themselves forward just to give you a boost. You have to get out there and surround yourself with like-minded people for it to work.
That is 100% true. Yeah. The people around you they impact your energy, whether we try to not take on some of their energy or not, it's going to happen. So if I'm around people who are, way up there and we're doing great things and we have all of this energy around creating and, connecting and being together, that's where I'm going to sit too, right? You kind of mimic what you're around. So it goes the same. If I'm sitting with somebody who's very that victim mentality is very strong, and it's hard to get out of it.
Yep.
So I'm well aware, as you're saying, you have to do these things. Some people can't.
Yes.
You get into it yourself. That's when, though, if you're feeling that today, reach out to somebody. It doesn't have to be one of us, but reach out to somebody, because it is very hard when you get too low to pull yourself back out.
It is.
And so and that's part of the human experience.
It is.
Right? That's part of the lessons you're here to learn. Nobody came here perfect.
Yeah.
If any of us came here perfect, we wouldn't be here.
Nope.
We all came here because Earth is the hardest place, or the best, quickest, I should say, because it's the hardest, to learn your lessons.
Yeah.
Your time is a little faster here. You have because there's so many different personalities and different people on this planet, you have the opportunity in front of you to learn the thing you need to learn. So we think about balancing our karma. Not the karma as in you did me wrong, now you're going to get something. Not that karma. That's not what we talk about.
Yes.
This is soul-led type of karma, where from my past life, I need to come in and learn a lesson to balance that out. And so that is where we start to think about, maybe this life is really your first incarnation.
Yeah.
And you are just low. That's okay. But you have to, what we want you to do is recognize it.
Yep.
Because if you don't even recognize it, that's where you're not going to learn a lesson. If you can recognize it within yourself, I would love to challenge all of you guys just to sit with yourself for a minute. Get real with yourself. Don't judge what you're hearing. Don't judge what you see when you look inside, but look inside yourself to see what you see and be very honest. And whatever it is it's okay.
Yes.
Nobody came here perfect.
Yes.
We are here to learn lessons. Let's learn them.
One thing I learned about myself, as women, when we go through postpartum, you will learn real quick that we have demons. And it's even if you didn't know that beforehand, you have demon-like aspects. Everybody does. No matter if they try to sit there and act like they are light and love. No, they are fighting their own demon, because, girl, you are not just light and love. There are aspects of you that, sometimes when you observe it, you're like, wow, this is dark. Why would you think something like this? But it happens, right? And I think that's the beauty of the process, because instead of trying to constantly push those feelings down of I don't know why I feel like this, and I feel like I'm not normal because I'm having dark thoughts. No, let them come up. Let them come up. Sit and watch them. What are they thinking of? Why do they think like this? But also your outlook can be writing, or you talk about it out loud. I'm having this feeling today of whatever the case may be, or it could be towards someone. Maybe you are feeling dark feelings towards someone. Why do you feel that? But it's not something that you need to be afraid of. And yes, when you talk to certain people, it obviously depends who you talk to, because some people are going to be like, okay, yeah, you need help. But no, there are individuals like myself and her that you can literally come to and share your darkest of energy. I am never going to judge you, because I understand. I've had thoughts and I'm like, whoa, this is new, or, where is this coming from? But I know as you are ascending higher, you will have that, as above, so below. Don't think that as you are increasing in frequency that you're not going to have those days of where stuff is really dark, because it will get really dark. And it's hard because I was having a moment of, like, as I'm feeling like I'm in alignment with myself and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I would have days where out of nowhere it's like, oh, like I don't like this energy, like why do I feel like this today? It feels like nothing is possible for me, or I can't do anything at all. Like it's like the thoughts, the funneling thoughts are just hitting you and hitting you, and you're like, I don't know if I will escape this day because everything seems so heavy. And then you wake up the next day and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling great. I literally can do whatever I want today. I've met all these cool people and experiences today. I'm just having a blast. It literally is like night and day. And I just learned that as I am learning more stuff, that I also have those really dark aspects. And so you just have to learn how to like still sit with them. These are your friends, like I would joke a lot about how like I openly tell people I talk to myself, because I do. Like I give the best advice to myself. And so it's like, I would tell people I'm sitting at the table with a bunch of myself. Like we all have different personalities. And this was before I even really learned the concept of aspects, And I'm like, yeah, they all have different responses, but they're all me. Like they protect you depending on what the situation may be. I know a lot of people will talk about ego and how ego is a negative. Ego is not necessarily a negative. Say hi to her every once in a while, because she really does have your back, especially in certain situations where you need to be on demon time and you need your ego. But it's like, there are other times where it's like, ooh, yeah, she's coming up because, this situation is uncomfortable, but you just tell her, calm down a little bit. I got this under control. We don't need it. That's like what is that movie called with the different emotions? The cartoon. Guys, I love to reference cartoons as comfort shows because they really are comfort shows, okay? But Inside Out is a perfect example for that, because it's literally a bunch of different emotions trying to figure out like who needs to be in control at the time. Especially the second movie, when anxiety pops up and anxiety is taking over. At first it was like, it's good to have change. Like anxiety does bring good things to the table, but if you let anxiety take over, then it was too much. So it's a balance of having all these different aspects at your table, but just learning, sit down, get to know all of them, and learn how to use each one to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
I guess that would be.
Find the pattern in when they're showing up.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I'm constantly scrolling Facebook and I'm constantly seeing something that I'm like, ooh, why do they get that and I don't, right? Jealousy is coming up. Examine that.
Yeah.
Why are you seeing that every time? Is it because you want it? Work for it, right? Like you've got to find, and it's really hard. I will say, like I just say, find your patterns. It's really hard to find your own patterns. It's really easy though. Like if you've got a friend that you constantly see them hitting the same pattern, we can see it in other people before we see it in ourselves.
Yes.
But also keep in mind when you're seeing some of those things that it's that reflection, right?
Yes, it is. Everything's a mirror.
Yes. A lot of times if you're like, those people are so stupid.
Yeah.
Why are they always so dumb? Why don't they do this? Why don't they? That is literally you seeing you in that person and questioning what's happening.
Yep.
And so you have to be able, like, the best thing that you can do for yourself is really look inside your own body.
Yeah.
Why is my mind thinking that? Why? Like, let me analyze myself real quick. So sitting at the table talking to yourself, heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's all the different ones in your head, right? And we have not only this life of people.
Yeah.
We have our higher selves who are still there and can help us, We have all the past lives that we're now also living.
We're like the avatar.
Right.
We can contact any avatar before.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Yes. And I was gonna say something. Okay, yeah, because when you were talking about like when you are seeing people on social media, another thing I wanted to say about that too is like I've gotten to a point now where when I see people doing stuff like streamers, you know, or people that are really confident on social media, I just look at that aspect of myself as, you know, I'm so happy that, you know, they've been able to find their outlet of how to make it for themselves. But me personally, that doesn't align with me. I know that my superpower is not to sit on TikTok all day and make lives, but I am happy for you who can sit on TikTok and make lives because that is what you're learning how to use your specialty for what you're doing. So really that's how you start to learn how to look at those things and, you know, just start to realize you need to use your specialty and you will reap the benefits just as you sit here and watch someone on TikTok. People will see you in your truth and then you'll equally have that same feeling.
Yeah. We're not all meant to do everything.
Yeah.
Like we really are not supposed to be great at everything. We're not supposed to all do the same thing. Could you imagine, like, what would the world be like if
we were all
everybody was, we only could be a teacher? Okay, yeah. Well, how am I going to get, like, my house built? Nobody's going to build my house because we're all teachers. So don't, like, it's okay to not be good at something. I struggle with that. I used to be huge, like, I wanted everything perfect. I had to do it perfect. If not, I thought I was going to be judged. Well, that's my lesson to learn, right? Now I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I get out of here and I was like,
no, it's okay. Because honestly too, as we sit here and we talk about like, quitting jobs and leading your own path, some people are also meant to be like employees and work for other people. Like, have you ever had those experiences where you'll go to like a Come and Go or something, or sorry, that might not be for everybody, Maverick, whatever gas station is in your local area, but you go there and you have this great experience because there's this cheerful person that works at the cash register. And it's like, I am happy for you that you really just love your job and you are like making other people's day, because I could not sit here and do this. Like, I would be sitting here like just looking at people like, okay, next. Yeah, scan, next. Like, I would not have the capacity to also be joyful sitting there doing that, because I would be battling with myself. Like, I don't like time constraints. I got to be sitting here clocked in from 9 to 5 all day. No, I don't. That doesn't align with my soul. And I like to be able to express myself. So it's like, I also give kudos to those that they know that is their role too. And they play that role very well, because a lot of people will have good experience from people like that, and they make their day.
Yeah. For sure. I was just reading something about a Subway here in the Des Moines-ish area, and lots of people were on there and they're like, where did Tyler go? They were like, where is Tyler? Like, I need Tyler, because Tyler, looked out for the kids and he did, he knew everybody's sandwich. And to think about that, like, you can make an impact. It doesn't matter what your job is. Yes. It doesn't matter how you exchange your energy for the things that you need in life. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter, because what matters is how you show up for it.
Yes.
And Tyler was showing up at that Subway apparently, because he
had the people.
He had everybody like, where did he go? Like, this is no longer our favorite Subway.
Yep.
And it blew my mind, but it really took it home of like, just if you're you, just being you is enough.
Yeah.
Like, I think we had a live about purpose, right? And what's your purpose and what are you supposed to do? And honestly, it's like, just be you. Like, that's your purpose. Yeah. Is actually live in your truth and be who you are. Mm-hmm. I'm the weirdo who will come up to a stranger and be like, I love your shirt. I love your hair. I love your eyebrows. That's me, because I just love it. I feel like people should know.
Yeah.
And so many people are like, oh my gosh, like, thank you. I wasn't even sure I should wear this today. You know, and it's just, that's my gift to the world.
Yes.
It's just like, I don't care. I'll be the weird person. Yeah. Like, that does not bother me at all. So if I ever come up to you, like, just know it's all coming from a good place. But I just think it's great. And just show up, and you can see the people who, like you said, you wouldn't be happy in doing that. Your life is going to be miserable when you're doing that. Your life is telling you that's not for you, right? Like, do something different.
Yeah.
And so if you're sitting there in something today where you're just like miserable, yeah, what's the little step you can take? You don't have to quit your job today.
No, you don't.
But what's the little step? And maybe it's not even changing your job. Maybe it's just changing perspective on your job. Yes, I have to be a 9 to 5. But look at all the cool people that come in.
Yeah.
Right? I get to see all these new people. I get to interact with them. It's something new each day. It's all about your perspective and the way that you're looking at your life. You can make your life better just by switching your viewpoint.
Yep. Yeah. And even though we missed it in our last live, I know I talked about the movie Souls a lot. And I did not want to go this whole live without not talking about it, because I'm like, again, with the comfort shows, okay, you need to watch Souls if you haven't, but it's just super important because, he lived his life thinking that, his main focus was that he needed to perform at this jazz club. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he lived his life thinking that this was his moment when he finally got it right. And then he dies on his way home, and he pops back up in this realm, which is kind of what you touched on earlier when you're like, before we come to Earth, we have these realms, right? And so he appears back in this realm as a soul. And, he's like, obviously he's like, what is going on? Like, I got to get back to Earth because I got to perform, like he is just anxious about this performance that he has worked his life up to doing, and getting his mom's approval. And during this whole experience, he meets another soul because he becomes a mentor for this soul. And he stresses so much about this one thing that he feels like was his life focus, that when he does come back to Earth, he is accidentally put in the wrong body because he comes with the other soul. And so the other soul gets to experience his life while he is in another body, which is a cat. And so as he's going through this experience, he's watching himself from the other side. He's watching this new soul literally just start doing different stuff. And like so as he's observing this, he's just reflecting back to himself, because it's just like, wow, like the soul was having the hard conversations with his mom, like just finding the beauty in the more simple things in life. Like a leaf was flying by and the soul was just observing the leaf and the weather, and just doing all the things that were the unordinary. And so it's like when they get switched back, I can't remember, obviously because since they didn't actually fulfill their purpose to get back on Earth, they had to go back. And when they go back, he's just so upset because he feels like the soul ripped him from his experience in being himself. And the soul earns their badge to come back to Earth, but he's like, your experience is mine. Like, you were living my life. The only reason why you were able to even experience that is because of me, and then so the soul doesn't even want to go back to Earth because now the subconscious mind was building all these lies of, what the guy was saying of, you're not worthy to go back to Earth. And that's when it was introduced to the hell state is what I would compare that to, because that's where all the lost souls go that have been overcome by negativity. Like, those are the souls that allowed themselves to get too low. And so the souls are like literally these little blue people, but as they stay in that hell state, they become these big monsters. And he's going and he's searching for the soul because he is trying to right his wrongs, basically. And I know I'm like skimming over this, but this movie makes me, I know, but this movie makes me so excited because it's such a good concept, and I'm so happy that they made it. But he's going back to search for this soul, to right his wrongs. And when he gets down there, she's too far gone. And so the soul is like, he now meets that darker aspect of that soul, and it's running away from him and all these other things. But he eventually gets the soul to shed that darkness, right? And he reminds the soul that, she is worthy, and she did get to experience life how she did. It wasn't just because of him. And, she is deserving to go down there and not him. And it's just a beautiful movie. So, but, at the end of it all, he had realized that the whole thing that he was chasing his entire life was not actually his purpose. And, he's wasted all of his time thinking that this was his actual purpose. But now he was actually content, like with his near-death experience. Whoa, full circle, right? His near-death experience, where he actually felt fulfilled and whole in, like, back in this realm, opposed to coming back to Earth. Because then when he was back at Earth, he didn't feel as fulfilled without the soul.
Beautiful.
That's all I'm saying. So you guys need to watch that. You guys need to watch that movie. Yeah. But we are going to wrap up the live here. We did want to share some of our good things that we have going on, especially if you're in the Des Moines area. We got this book back here, Green Lights, okay? This, for our book club, this is the book that we're reading. We're going to meet on Wednesday, March 11th, and we're going to review this book in person. If you are following our Facebook pages, you can find the link on there. We also have the Facebook group, Spine and Soul. So you can RSVP for that. But you need to, because it is filling up already. It's free. But yeah, you got to RSVP because the spots are limited for that. And then outside of our book club meeting, we have our next event, our sourdough event. So make sure you come and learn how to make some sourdough, because just like we were saying, you got to learn the basics, right? You got to learn how to go back to the basics. Mm-hmm. So everything that we're doing here is going to teach you how to barter and go back to the basics, get into your community with people, and you'll be all right. So you have anything you want to add?
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add.
I'm just that great. No, I'm just kidding. But we plan to have our next live, I think, is it next week or the week after?
Next week.
Oh, it's the week after.
Oh, no. Yeah, the week after, before the one before the book club. So whatever that day is.
If you guys understood all that. We will post about it, though, for our next live. Yes. So, but get in tune with the Facebook groups. We have the Seasonal Sisterhood. That's our women's only group. But
yeah.
Our sisterhood connection, okay? Because women really need the support. But the book club, all genders, everybody's welcome, of course. We do like to do the dark aspect reading, self-development books. Yes. So don't come over here thinking that we're reading Green Eggs and Ham, because we're not. We're getting to the nitty-gritty, okay?
That's how you have a little one.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you guys think of anything, if we talked about something on here that you want to know more about, let us know that. We're open to any suggestions for topics. Yeah. Or we still talked about, like, if anybody wants to come join us.
Yes, join us. Yes. Either if you're on TikTok or if you watched our live here, you can definitely join us next time. If you ever want to touch on something, just let us know, because we love to have a whole open communication.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like us, if you're a little weird and woo-woo, But even if you're not, and you're just open to, getting to know, like, what we're talking about, you have questions, then you can join too. We're not restrictive over here, so. All right, y'all. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a beautiful time.